Yeah. So what we talk about about community economic development, the new term is social economy. What we mean about a social economic organization, it's something that it's an organization that it's like a business, but it has a community purpose to it. It's got a social purpose to it. And like we use the Quebec definition, which is also the same as the definition that's used in Europe, which is basically four characteristics: is that it has to be doing something. It has to be producing services, producing goods or delivering services. It has to be doing something, not just to be a pure charity, but it has to actually do some work. So it has to do that. It has to have democratic governance. It cannot have any. It cannot be a branch of government or a bunch of a corporation. It has to be independent. So that's another characteristic of something that it's a social economic organization, something basically from the community. And the last thing is it cannot have big surpluses. Like it's supposed to reinvest all the profits in the organization and keep on delivering more goods and more services for the community. So it's not supposed to accumulate a lot of surpluses and basically give them to the shareholders. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to do a distribution to the shareholders, only limited distribution to the shareholders. So the prime legal way of doing that is probably something like a cooperative or a community corporation. That is the legal form of that works the best for social economic organizations. Either it's going to be a co-op or it's going to be like a community corporation. That's typically what they are. And some of them call themselves societies, but it's the same idea. They have to be able to produce goods and services, and they have to do this in a democratic governance structure. And they cannot be distributing their surpluses to the shareholders or the unit holders. So when we did our study on social economic organization, how they get financed, we used a wide net to capture pretty much everything that fit into that category. So like we included even worker cooperatives. People say, well, worker cooperatives, I mean, the workers get the distributions. So say, yeah, but I mean, it's a worker cooperative. It's widely held, and they're not billionaires, the people that work there. I mean, they're just making a living. So we use the wide definition. So as far as who comes into this, well, here in Sydney, like the YMCA will be a social economic organization. I mean, they deliver goods and services. It's got an independent board. That fits that definition. New Dawn Enterprises, which is a corporation here in Sydney, it's a community corporation that's well over 30 years old, and they do affordable housing, they do senior care, they have a couple schools for things that the public colleges don't deliver. They try to do the things that, like I said, the other two sectors don't do. Horizon Achievement Center in Sydney that employs people with disabilities to deliver food services, and they do banquets and those kind of things. That's another example. The Glace Bay Citizen Service League that do Meals on Wheels and childhood programs, a bunch of other programs. That's another example. And then all the cooperatives, right? We have like the Victoria Fishermen's Co-op is something that Father Jimmy Tompkins started 60 years ago and is still going, right? So. And that's a cooperative that works with the fishermen, and the fishermen basically own it, and they're able to get better value for their catches that way, right? So that's another example. And then talking about culture, you might have heard of Telil in Arisha, Telil, Television Island, Telil, and that came out of when they were trying to retrain the fishermen after the fisheries collapsed. The fishermen figured that culture is the future. And they own this. They started this. It's almost like a cooperative, but it's a social enterprise. It's a community organization that employs fishermen to run the cable TV station and produce original programming for the station. About their own culture, and it's all in French. So it's kind of unique. They have a market. Like they export that product. They actually sell CDs and tapes to Quebec and to France and other places in the world where they're looking for original Francophone programming for TV. So that's something, that's a community group that does that. And of course, the cooperatives, the funeral cooperatives, and there is Coop Atlantic, which is the retail cooperatives. There's all kinds of cooperatives, and they all fit into that social economy, the social economy sector.